we were about to drop a video on Kazuya about a potential ban. And then just today, an hour ago, as of me filming this, Attorney Locator, who is the biggest TO in Texas, posted this. This is one of the toughest decisions I've had to make in a while. It's not a life or death decision, but a moral decision. It affects a lot of people, friends, and a scene that I care about deeply. After several polls, many conversations, and just being inside of my head, trying to figure this out, I've decided today Steve and Kazuya will be banned from Ultimate Shockwave. As of now, this will not affect our regional or LDC tournaments. That decision will be made at a later time. Like I said, this decision was not made easily, hastily. In my heart, I believe it's the wrong thing to do because it affects the game, something that is supposed to be fun the way it is, and it hurts the players who have spent a lot of time in the lab with Steve or Kazuya. Now, I want you to know, Texas has a lot of Kazuya players, like a lot. In my head, I feel it's the right decision for the health of the entire scene and the competitive nature that the scene has become accustomed to. This decision also aligns Turn Locator and Ultimate Shockwave with Freaks and other local tournaments in an effort to try to unify the DFW scene. I hope that the decisions and moves will now allow the scene to last, grow, and be fun again for everyone involved. I also hope this decision, along with the other TOs, can move us all in the direction of unifying DFW and then Texas. I do apologize to the Steve and Kazuya players that this decision affects. I invite you to still come out to all the locals and try something new and have fun. I'm also looking for ways to make each of our weekly events more fun and cost-effective for you. I hope to see you all attending more, making new friends, and having fun with the current friends. Trey, Godfondren, Fondren. So, massive L, great decision, good decision, good decision. This feels targeted. Thank God he is gone. Good on you guys in the community. Finally, it's time to shine. Okay, now Rob, Scrub Coats X, 100. Good luck fighting Closet Mage. It's very up and down. Really quick chat. The poll, what do we think? Is it an L or a W, this decision? While we get results from the poll, subscribe to the channel, and let's watch the rest of the video we have prepared on this topic, and then we'll check in on the results. Everyone say hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. The character we're talking about today is not Steve, because instead, it is Kazuya. And specifically, the topic of Kazuya being banned. That's right. Regions are taking it into their own hands to ban Kazuya already, which to me is too far. You might say it's a slippery slope because HBox, you already banned Steve from Coinbox, this and that. Oh, you sponsor, Liquid sponsors Riddles, so it's a conflict of interest. No. Put that all away from your head for a second and think about this. Steve, to me, is a true problem. More than enough reasons to being banned. Kazuya is a top tier character. Very good character. Some say top 5, some say higher. Sure, that's fine. But here's the one thing that Kazuya has disadvantage. You can't just minecart your way out of a bad situation when you're getting combo. You just gotta, know how to play like any matchup. He is broken, I will say that, but I think it's not fair to put him in the same bucket that we have put Steve in. So what I want to talk about is the fact that even though Steve has been banned in Coinbox, we saw events in Texas testing out a rule set last year that had Kazuya ban and even other portions of the Fighters Pass 2-pack ban. Sometimes they ban the entire Fighters Pass 2-pack. But according to this Twitter thread right here, Dallas has banned both Steve and Kazuya officially. After careful consideration looking at the voting data, I've made a decision that best reflects the majority vote. For this foreseeable future, I've made a decision to ban both Kazuya and Steve at Freaks. I can only hope that those that made the votes do show up to support the decision. I've always tried to do things based on votes and listen to what our community wants. In the end, it's about having fun. Please remember that. In addition, I've had a lot of complaints about Yoshi's story and noticed it's the least picked stage. I was going to replace it with Bastion or the Cave, so I went with Hall of Bastion. I recently informed this actually makes the stage the same as the Midwest Unified rule set. TLDR, Kazuya, Steve ban at Freaks for this foreseeable future in a new stage list. So, one reason I'll say that automatically off the top that I'm not sure it's a good idea for these guys is that they did put it up to a vote. At Coinbox, I didn't put it up to a vote. I made it my own decision. I spoke to people, I got perspectives, but I didn't put it up to a vote. And the reason I don't think this should be put up to a vote necessarily per tournament is that personal bias does come into play here. If you yourself struggle in the Kazuya matchup and you got completely bodied by a Kazuya in tournament, like me, right? I got bodied by Nito in like 45 seconds. It was a 3-stock, I couldn't even move. But I still wouldn't ban Kazuya. Some people take their personal experience of the character and their lack of understanding the matchup into their vote as to why it should be banned. Now you might say, but HBox, can't you say the exact same thing about Steve? Steve goes beyond personal bias. Steve goes from the fact that he was made literally during the pandemic by Sakurai. The character, in my opinion, in many people's opinions, was not balanced, was not properly finished, and there was advantages that were not properly play tested out of the way. That is why. Where I think Kazuya had more realistic testing and they understood how to make the character at least have proper disadvantage. Steve, I don't think does, in the same way that Kazuya. Call it controversial, that's truly what I believe. So the fact that Dallas is doing that, I gotta say, I don't agree. This seems to be kind of knee-jerk after after Steve was only banned recently from Coinbox and other events and slowly starting to be banned at other nationals. I get that. Let's Make Big Moves, among others. We need to see how that goes, and we need to see like what Kazuyas are actually terrorizing things. There's a lot more for obvious reasons. Now, my original April Fool's video was going to be a video really similar to my Steve ban stream, like a presentation. I was going to joke that I'm banning Kazuya, but then this became real. So the Kazuya ban actually became real in a region. So I couldn't do that April Fool's joke anymore. What makes Texas unique here to warrant this? There's a PR player named Hippo who made this video describing the characters in their local meta back when DFW was initially testing the bans.
Our PR has had the same two Robs, Grayson, and Cosma on almost every PR since Smash Ultimate's release. However, in the return of tournaments post-COVID, sitting alongside Rob in the PR were two Steves, Yanni and Trey5, and one Kazuya, Burr. That was a year ago. Fast forward to today, and there are a total of 3 Robs, 2 Kazuyas, and 1 Steve that make up 6 of 10 of our current PR. Over half of the top 10 players this season are Rob, Kazuya, and Steve. Is it a coincidence that in this same time period, tournament entrants are also at an all-time low when compared to the time before DLC Pack 2?
Okay, guys. I'm not trying to play the devil's advocate here, but between 2019 and 2022, this little thing happened that affected a couple things. Anyways, let's just say someone coughed.
But failed to elaborate on the ramifications these characters have had on arguably the most important level of tournament, the local level. Let's take a look at the previously mentioned Robs, Steves, and Kazuyas that have been on the DFW PR. Like I said during the introduction, these two Robs, Grayson and Cosma, are an eternal staple to the DFW scene. These other players on the screen though, don't share such a rich history with the game. Yanni was an unimpressive Luigi main before Steve was released, often getting 33rd and never placing top 8 at locals. However, during the COVID era, he picked up Steve and grinded Wi-Fi religiously, eventually leading him to become one of the best players in DFW and in the world. Moving on, Hippo, yes, me, used to be a Pichu main pre-COVID. I was also a pretty unremarkable player, a 1-2er who never placed top 8 and caused 0 upsets. Post-COVID wasn't much different for me. I didn't grind during COVID as Wi-Fi Pichu wasn't very good, and so my results stayed the same, unremarkable. That is until I picked up and learned Kazuya. Now I consistently top 8 at locals and on PR. For the last two, Atomic and Trey5, they both never played Smash Ultimate competitively before COVID. They picked up their respective mains, Rob and Steve, and grinded during the Wi-Fi era. Now, they're both insane PR players that have caused many upsets at the local and major levels. Now that you have some context on these players, you can clearly see that some of these players are carried. Ignoring the Robs for now, Yanni has openly admitted to being carried multiple times on Twitter, and I'm definitely not the first to admit that Kazuya can carry a player extremely hard. But what does it even matter if someone is carried? If you can just pick a character and easily start winning, why not main them? I personally know many players of all skill levels in Dallas that go to a tournament and get double eliminated by either Rob, Steve, or Kazuya at every local, every week. But in DFW, achieving top 8 will almost always require you to fight one of several Robs, Steves, or Kazuyas.
True.
And it definitely doesn't help that these matchups are infamously not fun to play against either. Steve and Kazuya both require you to play in a certain way that many players agree is degenerate and not fun to fight. This has unfortunately resulted in a few top players not going to tournaments anymore. Notoriously, Oryx, a historic and unanimously respected PR player in DFW since the Smash 4 days, has stopped going to tournaments completely as a result of the Kazuya and Steve dominance. You may just write this off as laziness and refusing to adapt, but going to tournaments and paying money just to play the same matchups that you don't even like, surprisingly isn't fun to some people.
Cooked. And
at the end of the day, if tournaments aren't fun, there's no obligation to go. But another problem lies in the mid to low level of players. Well, there have been many cases of new, young, or, and excuse my French, bad Players picking up Kazuya or Steve and
called-
causing bracket shifting upsets.
Damn.
Just to cite some examples, let's take a look at 14-year-old Steve main DJ Don.
This guy.
His first offline tournament was in 2022, and in less than a year, he's upset previous and current DFW PR players. Another egregious example would be 16-year-old Kazuya main Skeleton. Before picking up Kazuya, he was an 0-2 to 1-2er, having a sub 50% win rate in a bunch of tournaments.
Oh my god.
Now though, after picking up Kazuya, admittedly, he still will go 2-2 or worse half of the time, but has the added benefit of some insane DFW and state PR upsets,
Dude,
simply because the matchup favored Kazuya.
Okay, so this video definitely it shows you like a certain perspective on what effect it did on a region. I will say this, I think every region is going to have unique narratives, unique storylines, unique players that can benefit or dissuade your certain argument on what you feel is fair for Ultimate. Florida, for instance, you know, we have Jake, we have a lot of players here that I could, you know, weave whatever narrative that I want. You have to approach this from an unbiased standpoint. You have to look at it specifically from the bare bones programming of the game. And you have to understand what makes a character overly broken and not. There will be results that support it, but I will say, like, it seems on the national scale, which I think is more important than just like the local scenes, like if you have a few good players that use Kazuya and they're already like kind of decent and they play against people and they beat them, like sure, they're gonna get big results. But majors tell a bigger story. Majors show like this is the absolute. These are the best players in the entire world. For a character to warrant a ban, I need to see some shit like Akla versus Onin Grand Finals, right? I need to see majors being won, Onin winning Smash Con. I need to see like complete dominance of this character, even beating the previous best player in the world, like not having a chance, right? So when MKLeo got third by Onin, and then he was like the absolute best at the time, it really was a wake-up call. I support a character being there as long as the effort required to beat someone is the same as the effort required from the other player. I get there's tier lists, but there's definitely ways to stop it. TLDR, I support a Steve ban. I do not support a ban of Kazi or any other character until further notice, until there is definitive proof. Definitive proof that this character is completely unbeatable, terrorizing the meta in every single way, and has no counterplay. And that, to me, is not true. Chat says 21% says it is indeed an L. And I think banning Kazuya is an L. But, interesting. Anyways, that is just in, so officially Kazuya and Steve are now banned at most regions in Texas, or the biggest regional in Texas. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and as always, I will see you next time.